I shared a meme to my story yesterday, and my cousin's son, messaged me to say, "This is super inappropriate, Shane. You shouldn't be comparing these two things." And I actually have a friend who I've known since grade 3. He's an RCMP. He's messaged me and unfriended me saying this person was shot and killed by responding to a thing. And I don't mean to offend anybody over this. What I want people to think about is the fact that following orders is what leads to atrocities. And we have in our country right now, we just saw a bunch of healthy birds executed under the guise of they were a public health threat, which they were not. Pretend for a minute that a flu went through a old folks home, for instance, and some people died from the flu, and then the ones that had the flu and recovered, they're alive now. Do you go and you kill all those people? No, you don't. And then say, oh, it's to protect everybody. No, those birds potentially have the key to surviving a bird flu pandemic, which I would bet money even that they intend to do some gain of function research with the bird flu and then release that on us and pretend that it's natural like they did with COVID, which it wasn't. There was all kinds of gain of function going on in that. And everybody who's paid attention knows that from the beginning, and you were called a crazy conspiracy theorist for pointing that out or saying that. Those birds are an example of authoritarianism, which is coming to Canada. It's absolutely happening. I messaged my friend who is the RCMP and said, listen, I'm sorry this offends you. I don't know who that was. But you got to look at the fact that blindly following orders has led to atrocities around the world, and that's what this is meant to say. And you cannot continue to pretend that you guys are doing a great job. I have tons of respect for policing and for police officers and the work that they do. But the fact is, blindly following orders is what's going on right now. And Trudeau should be in jail for the rest of his life. He lined his pockets by ordering 10 COVID shots for every Canadian. And he has investments in Arbutus Pharmaceuticals through the University of British Columbia. They make the lipid nanoparticles. I might not have pronounced that company correctly, but look into it. He has made millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars from that type of thing. That's called racketeering. That is a crime. Okay? Crimes against humanity because tons of people are getting sick and dying from those shots. And I even went to my chiropractor, a friend of mine today, and he was saying, you wouldn't believe the number of people who come and they tell me about all these ailments that they're having now. Tons of people getting cancers, tons of people having heart issues. It's sickening. It's absolute crimes against humanity. Trudeau is guilty of that, openly. What else? Treason against Canadians, okay? Where is the RCMP doing about him? What is the RCMP doing about these globalists who are trying to enslave us with a digital ID and a central bank digital currency? Canadians are losing faith in our systems, and I don't want to lose faith or trust in the systems that are supposed to be here to protect us. But like the media has lied to us nonstop about all of these things. When are they going to be held accountable? And the police are blindly following their orders, or I don't know what's going on there. I wish that they would stand up for Canadians. I told my friend, you know what, I wish you guys would stand up for Canadians rather than doing what the government tells you, because that is how the Nazi regime occurred. Okay? It was because people just blindly did what they were told. They didn't think. They didn't act with morality. They didn't act with justice. Oh, by the way, Trudeau also used the RCMP to break up a peaceful protest, which ended the lockdowns and ended all these forced injections, which they were planning to do. In the United States, their Constitution has the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech, which Mark Carney is trying to get rid of. by censoring anybody, removing their internet, debanking them. If he doesn't like what they're saying, well, guess what? That's a violation of the First Amendment in the United States. And the Second Amendment is to have guns. It's not for hunting, it's to protect yourself from a tyrannical government. And they're also trying to take your guns away, too, from law-abiding citizens who are pointing out the fact that our country is becoming a communist, authoritarian shithole. It's becoming a nightmare. Okay? I don't want to see that. I love this country. I grew up here. I helped to build it. I'm an engineer. But I'm at the point now where it's like the threat of guns is what stops authoritarians. And that's why they want to get rid of the guns. Imagine how much different the world would be if Germany didn't take away people's guns during World War II and they started coming to round up the Jewish people. Okay? I'm sure that if a few of those Nazi SS order followers got shot for trying to do something completely inhumane, such as rounding up people they considered unclean, I'm sure that whole situation would have went different, because it would have sent a message to the order followers to smarten up. And there was a time where I was concerned that I was going to get rounded up because I'm unvaccinated, and guess what? I have better fucking immunity than anybody who took those bullshit COVID shots, because my body and every other person who is smart enough to see through this, our bodies experience the entire 28 proteins of the virus rather than just the toxic spike protein created by the vaccine that also has SV40 and all kinds of other toxic shit in it. They injected you with the most toxic part of the virus, the part that was intentionally put on the common cold virus, which is a coronavirus. They injected you with the thing that mimics HIV, okay? This is the really uncomfortable shit that nobody wants to hear or talk about, but that is literally what the spike protein is. Okay, when I first heard that, I cried by the lake for like an hour because I realized how evil this is. So if you think that you're gonna come and take my guns or force vaccinate me after all this bullshit we've got, I've got news for you. No, you're fucking not, okay? I don't want to hurt anybody in my life, but I will not allow that type of treatment to happen to me, okay? And neither should you. Nobody should allow it. It's horrendous what has happened to people in this country and around the world, and the evil people behind it need to be held accountable, and they need to be held accountable now. They should have been held accountable years ago, but the fact is that order followers are the problem. So stop following orders and start doing what's right. Sorry, I had to digress there a little bit to explain why it's important not to be a brain-dead order follower, and why it's important that the threat of violence for being a brain-dead order follower exists. And there should also be, this next part is about the threat of, don't try and push shit on us that we don't want, because nobody's asking for this digital ID, and we all are, like, people are rebelling against it all over the world. But guess what? I know how to take down this globalist digital ID system, and I'm about at the point where it's like the threat of knowing how to take that system down might be what stops these pricks in their tracks. And maybe that's what everyone needs to do. I'll give you a hint. In London, they're cutting down all the cameras and the poles that host those cameras. Without a fiber optic network doing all of your transactions with your digital ID and your social credit system, guess what? They can't keep track of all of that. I don't want to see that. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but guess what? The threat of retaliation should be enough. But these people are not going to stop. They want to control everything and everybody. And think of how insane you have to be to think that you can do that. Think of how fucking crazy you have to be to think that you should have the right to control everything. It's unbelievable that this is happening. They're poisoning our food, they're poisoning the water, they're poisoning the air and the sky above us. They're lying to us nonstop. If you don't believe that evil runs this world, that's all you have to do is just start paying attention. Because if you look at the world through the lens of evil runs this world, guess what? Everything suddenly makes sense. Like, we've had the technology for many years to meet every single human need, yet life gets harder and harder and harder for people. That is by design. That is not an accident. Okay? It should be getting easier and easier and easier, and life should be getting better and better and better. Okay? But it's not. And that's because of these pricks, and it's also because of order followers blindly doing what they're told rather than thinking and acting with morality. And I really hope that you act with morality and with integrity and stand up against this shit. Because if we don't, guess what? There's going to be a lot of people dead. And that's exactly what these pricks want. They want to depopulate us. They wrote it all in stone. It's all in the Georgia Guidestones. It's disgusting. If you look into it, you start studying the occult. You can look up Mark Passio. You can watch a series called The Cult of the Medics on Substack. There's tons of resources. I can post about them. Ask me in the comments because I don't have time to do all these things. But like, seriously, stop blindly following orders and think with your heart and your mind and your intelligence. And I don't want to see anybody getting hurt, but I'm not interested in being controlled by these authoritarian psychopaths. And we all need to stand up and say, no, I've had enough. Anyway, this is a long video. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful life. I love you and everybody except the globalists. So